So here we are at the Area 4 Championship 2019. This is my match analysis of the video. All in all, I finished up in 7th in carry optics at 89% of Luigi Lee, who is a notorious sandbagger who pretty much only shoots majors and should be a master, if not a grandmaster. But, well, I guess I can't really compare. I mean, Daniel Thompson is an amazing shooter, and he is a B class, which means he doesn't shoot classifiers like ever. So, also a sandbagger. He's on Team Walter, and he won a Walter for winning B class at this. So that's kind of funny. But anyway, here we go. This first stage, this was a big strategy error. There were basically two plans. You could shoot in this box, and this box as 3 positions, or you could shoot in this box and then up on this platform and do it in 2 positions. And I saw Daniel Thompson do it in 2 positions. I'm like, that makes sense. That's way faster. But Daniel Thompson comes up to about here on me. And so he's able to jump up on this platform real quick and manipulate or move around his upper body, all that good stuff. I'm a big lumbering oaf, so I'm not as spry as Daniel Thompson. So I should have just gone to 1, 2, 3. But, you know, live and learn. So I was number 2 shooter on this stage, so I really didn't get to argue with myself on which way to go. Way too conservative on that. These are 10-yard targets. I should have been just hammering them. So there was a bunch of time right there. About a half second on a makeup shot there. And that long transition at the end. I think I would have just been better off going to all 3 boxes and running it super aggressive. So, I mean, on that stage, that was a pretty bad stage for me. Like 73% right there. That was pretty rough. Definitely could have run that pretty quick on my feet. I probably could have put something up in the 12s on that if I'd stayed on my feet just as well. But, all right, this was the stage that I got to go first on, stage 7. Whoops. This one went pretty well for me. I have a mic on steel, which I successfully made up and came back from. But at the same time, that cost me about a half second. So this should have been a run in about the 17s. But what's worse than that is you'll see that it cost me an exposure on this bobber. One thing about the lid of this box, so there's the lid of the box, there's the box. All your magazines are inside the box. There's a little handle right here. And I watched the guys in front of me trying to open this box by the handle, and almost all of them could not get the lid open because it was weird on how you had to grab it. So what I ended up doing is just putting my left hand under the edge of this and just Hulk smashing and throwing it open, and that was the right way to do it. So examine props when you have activator props like that and make sure that you're doing it the way that makes the most sense. So I got my gun out so I could load the gun faster once I got my magazine. So you'll notice here I have 0 magazines on my belt, and this is a 20-round stage. I can fit 23 in my bigger magazine, which I think is what I used here, and that's still pretty risky. So not a lot in the gun. With 1 makeup on steel there, I've got like 1 left. But that's the way you kind of got to roll sometimes, you know. So I missed this position. This cost me major time. Because you see me, I swing back to that. Like the way I came into this position, I should have taken the paper and that popper, then finished on the bobber. But that's not what I did. I introduced this big wide transition over here, wide transition back, and then kind of a bend of my upper body to be able to see this popper. So that was, my plan kind of left me at this one. I was kind of scatterbrained, and that probably cost me between those 2 errors, you know, up to a half second. So between my makeup shot there and the half second for missing this position, that's probably would have been about a 17-second run probably. So that would have been, what would that have done if it was 17? Let's see how many match points I get. I got 85 match points on that stage. And if I gained a whole second from those errors that I just shared with you. And I'm not doing this to denigrate other people's performance because everybody had mistakes on this stage. It's not like anybody got out clean, but I'm just trying to see what the mistakes cost me. Not trying to say like I'm the real champ or anything like that. But if it was, I mean, I would have won that stage if I was that second faster for not having that missed popper and hitting that position and just doing it like I wanted to. So that could have been a stage win. It would have only gotten me 5 match points, which really probably wouldn't have moved the needle so much in the overall standings, but it's nice to say you got a stage win. While we're waiting, if you want a match video like this, you want to share with me your match video, head on over to Patreon and I can take care of you and do this level of analysis on your match videos. All right, before we dive in too much further, here we are on stage 8. So on stage 8, Luigi is inhuman and ran it in 16.5 seconds. And all of the mere mortal, he won the stage with a no-shoot hit. That's ridiculous. He's that fast. He's insane. Meanwhile, me and Daniel Thompson are kind of running at the same speed, it looks like. Okay, went too far forward. So watch how I step into this position. I step with my right foot first, because I know that my left foot will make it into the box. And at this point right here, now I can start shooting if I had a good sight picture. So I'm able to get on the gun pretty quick. Just the speed at which I engage that array. And this running reload right here, I just kind of lumber up to the front and I stand up to erect. All right, and I shot this wrong. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the order I shot them in. What should have happened is I should have shot in on 2, gone to 1, down to 5, down to 4, up to 3. That would have been the most efficient way. I don't know how much time it would have saved, not a whole lot, but definitely some. It wasn't any harder, but it definitely would have been faster. This stage, this strategy error here. Too much dwell on the dot there. All right, so I shot the lower target as I step onto this pad, and the more I think about it, this was not the right way to do it, because what ended up happening, if that's the A zone, I had a bullet hole just to the outside on either side of it, and it takes a bit of time doing it. So what happens is, and you can't see it because it's off camera, but there is like a out and back target where it rests. There's a no-shoot like this, and then the out and back target kind of rests like that, where you basically had headshots on the out and back. There's an out and back over here and an out and back over here. And you absolutely could have stepped on and taken one of the out and backs as it tipped out, and then the other one you could have taken as a headshot. But the way that I shot it, I go here, then I shoot the headshots over here, and I introduce this big 180 transition to take more headshots. And I think that how much time it took me to shoot that target was more than it would have taken me from this box. It would have been much faster in this box. But headshot, 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 headshot. So I think that cost me a little bit of time. The amount of time it takes me to get low there, to get that, probably should have finished through the window and just accepted whatever the points were on those waivers. I could have definitely got the waivers first while they were a little bit more energetic, and probably save some time, because time was at a premium on that stage, because he's 3 seconds faster, which is insanity. No, that's not the right stage. He's still 3 seconds faster. So I had a conservative time. My hits were kind of crap. I think I could have got better hits if I'd run it the other way and shot the tip out, because both of my headshots on the tip outs were like just off the A ring, the upper A zone. All right, another strategy error stage. I ran the open shooter plan, and I should have stuck to my guns and shot the minor carry optics plan. All right, so I just run here. I shoot these 3 targets, and I transition on that target we saw off screen over there with the barrel. What I should have done is run to this position, shot this guy next to the barrel, shot this guy while advancing to this corner and shooting that guy while advancing to the corner. Shot this guy, and at this point, you can't really see it there, but there are 2 pieces of hardcover, and there are a target kind of right next to it. Whoops. Right there, and you had a full A zone if you went to this point right here on those 2 left targets. And I could have shot them. They'd have been about 15-yard shots, but it would have been a 15-yard shot to the A zone as opposed to about a 10-yard shot to the head box, which was significantly slower. And you had the hardcover to contend with. one mic on steel there. So 2 mics on the headshot there. And then because it was starting to get hot, I lost my focus and I stood there for about a second or a second and a half perhaps, waiting for that guy. You can see my score there was pretty bad. All right, and that brings us to the final stage for the day. This stage was run pretty well. I should have, if I could have shot that array faster. Running with plenty of aggression, that looks good. All right, you can't see it, but right now my gun is angled like this. So when I hit the magazine release, the magazine doesn't fall free entirely. It hangs up in the chute and I have to use my left hand to kind of clear it. And so that's why I never really get out of second gear in getting that position. So running reload's an issue, noted. All right, all in all, that wasn't too bad. How are the points on old stage 11? A bunch of Charlies, and the Charlies were all pretty close. So I need to work on keeping the points up. Brings us to the next day. That was pretty good. That was very good. I shot this guy on the move, immediately shot this guy, then this guy as I kind of settled out into position, and the second shot breaks on this target when the weight is shifting to my right foot. That setup took way too long. Okay, so I come into position with my right foot. I should have come into position with my left foot. So that setup took a little bit longer than it should have. And here's my big strategy error. I aped an open gun or an open shooter's plan where you're going to shoot this target next to the barrel stack, stay on that side, shoot this target as you walk into the position and then finish on the 45s. When originally I wanted to shoot this target, this target, this target, and this target. Wouldn't you know it, I try and do it anyway. So I end up one hand shooting this target with one round in the gun, taking the magazine that's still in my hand, slamming a reload, racking around, and shooting again. So I did the math, I worked it out. It was about a 3-second penalty to my time on stage 12. So it was like 23.94. It was just over 3 seconds when I did the math. So if you want to see something that really hurts, really, really hurts, if I make this like a 20.75, which it absolutely could have been. It jumps up a good bit in a solid 84% run. But what's more important in the overall match score, it jumps me up a good bit. I would have jumped up 2 whole places in the standings, nearly all the way to 3rd place. But you don't get to do that. You got to own your errors. I'm just mad at myself that I cost myself that much time. But I can stay mad at myself because on this stage, I mic'd on steel so much, it cost me a solid 1.5 seconds. So entering the box here, I enter off center so I can shoot the activator, this target, and then shoot into position on this target before I take this array of steel. One mic. I'm shooting this static right here, shooting this waver, shooting in on that guy. Oh, 2 mics. If I'd gone 1 for 1 on all that steel, that would have been a pretty big win. I mean, it was a decent stage, but it would have been about an 18-second stage. How many match points is that? So I got 101 match points. If I make that 18 seconds flat, that would have picked me up 8 match points, which would have helped as tight as the spread was up there. So either way, cool story. I didn't have a towel. It was starting to get hot. I needed to reapply sunscreen. So went over to the Max's Choice booth. Max Michelle's mom and dad were there selling some gear. And you'll notice on my belt right now, there's only 3 mag pouches. And if you follow the channel, I usually have 4 mag pouches on my belt. Back on stage, I guess it was stage 8 on the first day when I was doing walkthroughs, I hung up my rear mag pouch on the barricade when I went down trying to shoot between those barrels and broke my magazine pouch, which is unfortunate. So I ended up buying an extra mag pouch from Max's Choice. They're lovely people, and they gave me a towel that I could wipe off with. So that was awesome. All right. That was stage 1, so here's stage 2. 90% stage is pretty good. I'm not real sure where all the time was. I guess I just didn't shoot aggressively enough. I'm just not seeing it. I mean, he had 2 delta on the stage. My points were pretty good on this. Right there, that was probably a little bit not aggressive enough. I go 1 for 1 on that plate rack, but it's pretty lethargic shooting it like that. This position I probably could have saved some time. Went 1 for 1 on that last piece of steel, which was good. This position was run well. This position I could have been a little sportier on. Could have run the plate rack faster and could have run that target faster, but I'm not sure how I could have found 3 seconds in that. That was not terrible. It wasn't the best run by any means, but it wasn't a bad run. Okay. Here we are on stage 3. So that's kind of a rough stage for me on this one. Not real sure why I was so much slower than everyone. Oh, that was bad. That transition from there to there was awful. That could have been much sportier. So I just didn't have this position memorized, as it was just not programmed in as fast as it needed to be. This position's pretty rough. I tried to reload, cost myself some time. I probably should have taken the max trap. There was a max trap there that I chose to ignore. Probably should have taken it. Should have gone 1, 2, and then finished on this guy. But, oh well. Stage 4. 94% run with a mic on steel. It would have been a better run. Let's see what happens if I had taken my mic on steel off. You haven't even seen the mic on steel yet, but I gotta know. So that was like a 19.4 run. It would have helped a little bit, but not going to change the world or anything. Here we go. So this stage I only shot what I had to shoot from each position. There's the mic on steel. That was a lumbering reload. I mean, it was an awkward leaving position kind of thing. Like, so my hips start to turn as I reload. My gun is kind of right there. That's just kind of awkward, but I definitely need to practice that. I can't say I've ever practiced that. Those are no penalty mics if I ignored that drop turner. I went for it. I think it was worth the time to go for it. I think everybody went for it. Final stage. Yet again, a strategy error. I shot the static targets over here first and didn't trap the waver over here on the downstroke. And the guy who won the stage, that was what he did. And it was absolutely doable if you had both hands on the gun when you stepped on this pad and got through the window. So here we go. It just took too long shooting that waver. So wavers is a weakness, and I don't have a waver to practice on. But all in all, what I can take away from the match is I need to work on my medium distance targets, shooting those aggressively. and my running reloads. Those are the two big ones that I had issues with, and to a bunch of strategy errors, honestly. I didn't realize how much the strategy cost me on this match, but it wasn't a bad match. Enjoyed it, had a great squad, and you should shoot some level 2s just to kind of see how you're doing against the local USPSA scene. But appreciate you guys watching. Check out the Patreon if you want your match videos analyzed. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.